Hey, it's Coloreel at Inkthreadable, and today I'm going to be sharing our top 5 tips for creating vibrant designs with unlimited colour embroidery. By following these tips, you'll be able to create premium designs that we can embroider onto your favourite products again and again and again. Plus, we're currently running a free digitising offer for a limited time until the 24th of November. So be quick to take advantage of this exclusive promotion and get free digitising on any new designs for unlimited colour embroidery. Now before we get started, I want to give you a quick rundown on just what unlimited colour embroidery is. Unlimited colour embroidery is made possible by the technology of Coloreel. This magical technology has been taking the fashion world by storm over the past few years. It's not really magic, but it sure seems like it. Instead of having 16 spools of pre-dyed thread attached to our embroidery machines, this new technology only has one. So how does it make unlimited colours? Well, we use ink. And ink plus thread makes it Inkthreadable. It's almost like it was made just for us. So if you want to make your embroidery designs with unlimited colours using this insane new technology, then keep watching. Tip number 1, bold is best. Just like with standard embroidery, there's a certain limit to the level of detail that we can include in your design. By using bold lines and fewer details, your design will come out looking super clean every single time. When designing for embroidery, I personally find it helpful if you imagine that your design is going to be redrawn using a Sharpie marker pen. It wouldn't be possible to create any tiny details with a Sharpie marker, just like it wouldn't with embroidery. The minimum line width for your embroidery details is 0.125 centimetres, whereas text should be at the very minimum 10-point size or 0.35 centimetres tall. Elements any smaller than that run the risk of getting lost in the fabric and making your design look messy. We want your designs to be produced with the cleanest, smoothest embroidery to keep your customers coming back for more. And one of the best ways to do that is to keep your lines super bold and the details to a minimum. If you've got existing designs you'd like to use for unlimited colour embroidery, but you're not quite sure how to measure them, I suggest opening a Photoshop PSD template that you can find on our website, drag and drop your design in there, and then use the selection tool to measure the line widths. Tip number 2, use outlines and borders. Outlines are an essential tool that you must use in your embroidery designs if you want them to be durable enough to last a lifetime. Plus, outlines can add depth and dimension to your design, helping them stand out even more. Not only that, but with this technology in particular, we have to hide the colour changes somewhere within your design, and usually a border or a nearby outline is the best place to do that. If you're not quite sure what I mean by an outline, then here's a couple of examples. If we receive this design, we'd expect it to be a little bit flexible and it might not hold its shape too well. Whereas this design will definitely hold its shape due to the outline holding it firmly in place on the product. So when in doubt, apply a border or an outline to your design. Tip number 3, choose print-friendly colours. Now I realise you might be asking yourself, why do I need to choose print-friendly colours for an embroidery design? Well, I touched on it a little bit earlier and the process is fairly straightforward. With unlimited colour embroidery, we actually use ink to dye the thread as your design's being embroidered. This means that the colours in your file determine the final colour output, just like it would for a normal print. When choosing your colours, the main thing to remember is to avoid neon colours because they might not be produced just as you expect. When designing for unlimited colour embroidery, use the same approach that you would for a DTG print. The main thing here is to be aware that the colours on your screen are in a completely different colour space to the final product, so they might appear slightly different once your design's embroidered. I recommend choosing CMYK friendly colours, and if you do a quick Google, you'll find the best palettes for this. Tip number 4, use linear gradients. One of the most exciting things about unlimited colour embroidery is that you can now use gradients in your embroidery design. In the past, we've been asked to embroider rainbows and gradients galore, but the technology just didn't exist until now. Now before we dive into how to use gradients in your design, we best cover a few key terms. A short colour gradient is a quick colour transition between a small range of hues. This type of gradient creates a fast transition between colours. A long gradient is a gradual transition between a larger range of hues. This tends to include more colours, making the transition more seamless. This can provide a harmonious effect and add depth to your embroidery design. Apart from the length, gradients also vary in the orientation of the colour shift. The most common gradients are linear, where the colour changes from one side of the design to the other side, radial, where the colour changes from the outside to the centre, halo, where the colour changes in rings towards the centre of the design, and reflected, where the colour changes towards the middle and then changes back to the original colour afterwards. Now, using unlimited colour embroidery, we have found that linear gradients tend to work best. With a linear gradient, the colour transition happens in a straight line, making it easier to achieve with embroidery. When using gradients on text, you should apply it to the whole text and not just per letter. Remember that your embroidery design will be stitched in the direction of the gradient. So if your gradient moves from left to right, the design will be stitched from left to right. You should also be aware that gradients may not always fall in the exact same place, and there is a 2 centimetre tolerance for where this colour can shift. Another measurement to keep in mind is that your colour changes should be at least 2 centimetres apart. So if you have a colour gradient, make sure it's at least 2 centimetres wide for the transition to happen smoothly. Any smaller than that, and you risk losing the transition altogether and affecting the quality of your embroidery design. Tip number 5, no negative space. Lastly, we recommend avoid leaving any empty spaces in your design where the fabric might show through. Just like with standard embroidery, any small gaps in your design can cause deformities and it might make it look uneven on the fabric surface. We want your design to always look clean and retail ready, and you can do this by filling in any gaps of your design. And there you have it. That's our top 5 tips for creating designs with unlimited colour embroidery. To recap, you should focus on creating large shapes with bold lines for a visually appealing design. You should also apply a border to help your design stand the test of time. Choose CMYK friendly colours for your design to be as vibrant as possible. Use linear gradients to add depth to your design. And lastly, fill in any gaps of your design to keep it sturdy and prevent it from warping the fabric. Now you're ready to create vibrant designs, and we just can't wait to see what you make. If you're as excited as we are about the possibilities of unlimited colour embroidery, then we're here to help turn your designs into reality. Using our print-on-demand service, or embroidery on demand in this case, you can create and sell custom products online without any upfront costs. If you're new to Inkthreadable and you want more information about our print-on-demand service, then check the links in the description below. Now, the world of unlimited colour embroidery is at your fingertips. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep that creativity flowing.